Look at all my books on my shelf. This is the year of reading. For me, the past 3 years have been the years of living the stories. And I decided this year I want to start reading again because when you're in your head, you're dead. And you should probably be involved in other people's stories more than your own. Says the Enneagram 4. Happy New Year, my friends. I don't know why I'm just now realizing I always wear a turtleneck when I podcast. I don't know if that's like a subconscious thing or maybe I just feel more confident in turtlenecks, which is kind of ironic because typically women feel more confident in like sparkly, revealing things. Maybe that's a blanket statement. I personally feel most confident when I'm having a good hair day or a good skin day. And today I think I'm having an okay hair day. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can make that choice for yourself. But
Speaking of books, for Christmas, I got Susan Sontag's most recent. Well, she didn't publish them because she's dead. Her son, published them, and they are her journals. And I think it's called Reborn. And it's obviously quite invasive, but super good because she's Susan Sontag. So if you've never read that, you should totally read that. I wasn't intending on this being a book review or like book recommendations, but I'm always going to do that for you. So I am currently writing a movie and a book, as well as my blog on Substack, which I challenged myself to write 90 days, every day for 90 days. And I think I'm on day 60 something, which is crazy that I've been this consistent with anything. I guess since being in recovery, I have been really loose with like regimens and disciplines and routines because for so long I kind of lived in that box in my head. So I decided to write every day for 90 days on Substack more as like a creative practice for me, just to see if I could do it. And it's not really to get a whole lot of likes or shares or subscribers, which all of those things are awesome. And I would be lying if I said that I don't appreciate money and like a community that wants to read my things and compensate me for that. But I really started this as a rhythm for me to get better and to discover my voice in terms of online blogging, because I think I know my voice when it comes to like contemplative essays and poetry and prose. But when it comes to writing on a blog or writing on Substack or writing a newsletter, I haven't really found my voice, I guess, or my format of how I like to share what I want to share. And most recently, my article about the daily practices of 26 famous creatives has been shared quite a bit. And that kind of surprised me because, yes, I think it's cool to know like how Joan Didion wrote and Ernest Hemingway wrote. And I leave a chart at the bottom about like how Mozart functioned during the day. And there's like, I think Beethoven in there and Picasso and all these different artists that like some of them like to rest during the morning and work at night, or work really early in the morning, take a break and then work again and then rest. And I think everyone's process is different. And so I started writing every day for 90 days to kind of discover my own rhythm. And I guess I have found over the past 2 months that I really like writing at night now. I challenge you, if you have found yourself in some sort of stagnant system or routine or daily practices, to switch things up. Speaking of which, another daily practice that I have been trying to implement and contemplate about is the idea of fasting. And that started out obviously as a spiritual entity for most people. And then, kind of as time has gone on, doctors and people in the medical field have been really adamant about studying this and encouraging it. A lot of them. I'm not a doctor. Please do your research if you want to physically fast from something. But like I said, I think this year for me in 2025, it's about very soft routines and very plausible ones that are forming me in the direction of the person that I want to go, not like a super hard stop or a super fast go on anything. Because None of us need any more hardships on ourselves or any more shame towards ourselves. And so many people, and so much of the time, I think, especially with New Year's resolutions and this time of year with dry January and, New Year's goals, it's tends to be about, well, losing weight or changing a part of yourself or meeting a certain goal by a certain time. And I was talking with my mom about this. As someone who used to be toxically goal oriented, I feel proud of my accomplishments, I guess, but none of those accomplishments have made me more worthy of love or made me more worthy of praise. Accomplishment in itself really should be about the process of doing it. I've never done an Ironman. One time I started training for a marathon and then I ended up hurting my hips, but I know the satisfaction in that typically comes from the process, learning how you can stretch your body and achieving things one day that you couldn't do the day before. In the 90 days that I've been writing, that's kind of been my mindset is there's no failure here. Like I just see myself getting a little bit stronger every day, and knock on wood, I haven't missed a day yet. But like if something comes up or there is a time where I can't do it because of some unforeseeable circumstance, I believe I'm at the place where I can forgive myself for that. And I hope if you have a New Year's resolution or a goal that you're trying to hit in January or throughout the rest of this year, know that you achieving it isn't probably going to be read at your funeral. Culture writer David Brooks says that we live by one of two virtues. You either live by your eulogy or you live by your resume. And I don't want my life to be a set of resume values. I want it to be a life that can be read at my funeral. I guess I'm just thinking about this because I turn 29 next week. Oh no, it's this week. Yeah, I turned 29 this week in a few days. My last year of my 20s, I want to be a testament to the future that I have and the foundation that I'm laying and getting rid of the things that are very surface level and not supplemental to my spiritual journey, my faith, my friendships, my relationships. And I think it's also really important to look at your life in different seasons. I couldn't have fasted physically because I suffered from a physical mental illness in the past. And since I have been in recovery and I have cultivated a new type of rhythm in my life that's healthy for me, I'm able to look at my body, look at the things that I want to starve out, whether that's bacterial infections or mind infections or spiritual infections. Instead of looking at it like this is a way that I can control my body and switching that to this is a way that I can give my body to God and give up the surface level desires for the deeper, meaningful desires in my life and what I want my life to be. And with aging, I wrote an article on Substack a few days ago that I would love to read to you guys because what else am I here to do but talk into a microphone? I switched positions so I can read to you from my laptop. So I'm going to read you an essay titled Our Obsession with Women Looking the Same. Beauty has always equaled power, but what happens when your power is dependent on time? It is not normal for us to look the same way as we did at 15 when we turned 25, or 45, or 55. Our bodies, but most importantly, our minds change. Age, as far as I can tell, is a privilege. I'm personally 28 years old and almost 4 years into recovery from anorexia. I've tried every diet, workout regimen, and skincare product, yet I am fully convinced that even when you meet beauty standards, you won't be happy. You will never be young enough, thin enough, beautiful enough for someone. And usually that person is yourself. Watching the trend of Ozempic and plastic surgery in order to look 10 years younger be so widely praised and accessible is starting to make me wonder, will women ever be happy with the way we look? I turned 29 this week, and I'd be lying if I said my looks were not something I have noticed changing. But yesterday, I had coffee with a friend of mine I sincerely look up to, spiritually, relationally, and physically. She told me, your 40s and 50s are when you really start to become yourself. and that gave me hope. I don't have to look like I did at 19 in order to be loved by myself, by anyone. Of course, I'm not criticizing women who lose weight or have plastic surgery to conform to our society. We live in a broken system. There are also plenty of reasons to go get Botox or start going to the gym or do keto in order to feel better. I'm just challenging myself this year to not compare who I was to who I am and who I'm becoming, because I'm really glad the past me's got me here. I'm excited to have my crow's feet. Maybe they will help me fly. Every time I finish reading something, I wait for people to clap, and no one is here to clap except for my dog, Copper, who's standing right behind me because he's really ready to go out and go potty. I love you guys, and I hope that you have had a wonderful beginning of your year. I love podcasting, and I love writing, and I love talking to you, and I love living in Paris, and I feel like the luckiest girl in the entire world to just get to talk on the internet. I don't understand when people say, I wish that I lived in an earlier time. I don't. I like running water, and I like having rights to my body and to my mind and getting to be a woman in this world. I also wonder a lot of the time, how did F. Scott Fitzgerald and Hemingway and James Joyce and everyone live here? How was the visa system back then? I don't know. They were men. They figured it out. And now we're women, and we can figure it out. You can keep up with me on Substack, where I write every day for the next, I think, 30 days. I just started a new series called The Romance Association, which is kind of just a club geeking out about artists and their processes. Anyone from 19th century writers to Taylor Swift today. If you have any ideas, I would love to know. I think next I'm going to write about Jane Austen because she's a genius and I'd like to know more about her life. So if you want to check that out, you can go to the Cager Substack and subscribe here on YouTube. I love you so much. Think that's the third time I said it, and I'll talk to you so soon.